All right, let me test the audio. All right, let me test the audio real quick. Let's see. Test the audio real quick. All right, it seems to be good. So Barakati Hawa, Barakati Oshai, Barakati Hawa, Barakati Oshai, Barakati Hawa, Wahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahasham Raka Kodash. Dub honors to our apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone who teach and rule well through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Wahasham Yahweh Shai. Peace, love, and salutations to that came in the four corners of this earth, pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. To speckled bird Akim and Akwat out there who are tuned in, listening and learning with hopes of being delivered by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. To I say Shalom. This is Nahal from the GMS Kingston Jamaica camp, and I'll be going into. You can see the lesson of the title. It says Deuteronomy 28. From we're going from 15 to 20. We're gonna, well, hopefully, Lord's willing, right? How Mashai gives me the spirit to cover the entire curses, right? But we're just gonna take it piece by piece. So the initiative is to go through the curses and just shows you how these curses basically is affecting us. It is being fulfilled upon us, the Israelites, the so-called niggers, Latinos, and Native Americans today. As the curse is written in Deuteronomy 28 is one of our main, let's say, standing point to prove that the biblical Israelites are actually the so-called niggers, Latinos, and Native Americans, and not those Amalekites, those Jewish or Israelis over there in the land of Israel right now, because again the curses are only being fulfilled upon us and not those, I mean, those Amalekites who were from the tribe or the nation of Edom, you know. Now again, Lord's willing, I can go through all the curses. You tell me, we're gonna go from 15 to 20. uh yeah, Yahweh Shai, all praises to Yahweh Shai, because when I started when I thought of doing this, all right, I haven't even watched this movie, The Banker, right? And decided to, I'll go into it just to prove, or even just to go even a little bit in depth into the curses to show that look, these curses are truly being fulfilled upon us, right? But this just sealed the deal, right? I actually watched this a night ago, and this actually sealed the deal, and I just to show that look, the curses are upon us, you know. So let me get into it. Let me start off with let's start off with Deuteronomy actually. So we're going to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. It says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh," right? Motherfuck. Let's get Deuteronomy, right? 1. Let's get Deuteronomy 1 first, right? It says Deuteronomy 1 verse 1. "These be the words which Moses spake unto what? All Israel, unto this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and the Diz, or Dizab, I'm sorry, it's like a Dizahab," right? So these words were spoken unto the Israelites, right? Now going back to Deuteronomy 28 and 1, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt serve, thou shalt hearken diligently, sorry, Slakia, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh Bashem Yeshai, thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahweh Bashem Yeshai, thy power, will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth." Let's jump to verse 15, right? "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, thy power, to observe to do all his commandments which and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." So, long story short, is Yahweh Shai made a covenant, an agreement with the Israelites, his people, you know what I mean, and said that look, if you keep these laws, commandments, and statutes, if you keep this covenant, this agreement that we're making, I'll bless you, you'll be set up on high above all the nations of the earth. But if you break it, then you are going to be cursed, you know what I mean, and these curses shall be poured upon you, right? And the curses run from 16 going all the way down to 68, you know. Now going to Daniel 9, and I'll start at verse 10. It says, "Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh Bashmir Shai, our God, to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed against thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him, yo. So because we sinned against Yahweh Shai, Shai, the curses are poured upon us, yo. Right? Amos 3 and 1, hear this word that the Lord Yahweh Shai had spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Right, so out of all the nations that are upon the face of the earth, you only have I given my laws, commandments, and statutes. These other nations, they haven't known them. Right, going into Psalms 147, 13, 14 on down, think, right? It says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Right? So we are going to be punished for our iniquities because we were given the laws, commandments, and statutes, right? And that is what Deuteronomy, the curses written in Deuteronomy, are for a punishment, right? For chastisement, for corrections, amendment, right? And we are currently under these curses because, as Daniel told us, yo, we did break that covenant. So, therefore, the curses written in the law of Moses, Deuteronomy 28, 16, all the way down to 68, it is being poured out upon us, yo. Right? So, I'll just I'll be running through 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Right? But before we start it off, let's pull this, the banker. You know what I mean? For those who haven't checked it out, it is it is a pretty good movie. It is a biography, I think. Well, it's based on a true story, you know what I mean, and it is, if you just want to see, I don't think no one wants to see how Esau fucking over our people, yo. But it's a good movie to show you that who are enemies to never trust our enemy, you know what I mean, and if you want to check it out, you can. But um, let's just get into what it is. It says in the 1960s, two entrepreneurs hatch and ingenious business plan. It's like a hatch an ingenious business plan to fight for housing integration and equal access to the American dream, right? So it's based on a true story. So is the banker based on a true story? Yes, the banker is based on a true story of Bernard Jarrett and Joe Morris, two, black, two Israelite, what I mean, men who endeavored to become bankers and landowners in the 1950s and 60s. And if you watch the movie, I mean, I'll say this, that the movie portrayed that the way how they went about it, it is all legal, right? They got their money, right? And through legal means, they purchased the bank. You know what I mean? They purchased the bank, and Esau came with his deceptive tactics to basically root these men out because, back then it was, as he says, set in a time when racism, right? It says at a time when racism made that nearly impossible thing for American citizens to do. Because at that time American citizens couldn't even, African American citizens couldn't even own suitable housings, much less to own a bank. You know, it says, why did Bernard Jarrett go to jail? So in the movie, or in reality, he actually went to jail, right? Bernard Jarrett, who's played by Anthony Mackie, right? He went to jail, yo, because what he wanted to do, yo, after he purchased the bank, right? He wanted to assist fellow Israelites, yo, right, to get them out of the binds that they were in, right? So he decided to lend out money to other Israelites, right? In form of loans, But then Esau, with his conniving, wicked ass self, came about talking about the money was wrongfully used and lent out, to persons who can't pay it back, and you know, this, that, and the other, right? And they filed some lawsuit. A whole thing happened, that caused Bernard to serve some time. Serve 9 months in prison, and he lost his bank, lost out on the bank. Esau is gonna come and give him some deal. Hey, give up this, give up that to get, listen your sentence, and so forth. Right? It says in 1965, Garrett and Morris were sentenced to 3 years for misapplying $189,000 in bank funds. They served 9 months. Right? Say they were sent to what? 3 years, sentenced 3 years, for misapplying $189,000 in bank funds. But they would serve 9 months. A lot of deals had to be made to give up the rights to the bank, sell it over, all sort of things, You know what I mean? And that just goes back to the curses. So let's get into the curses, All right, verse 16 it says, "Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thou be, shall cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thine kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou goest in, and cursed shall shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand unto, for to do, until thou be destroyed and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me." So everything that we set our hands to do, yo, it will fail. Because when we have Esau at our backs targeting us, heavily, right? It's like we're in this iron cell. This whole world's a cell. We can't basically branch out to do anything to better our lives, right? You said, yo, let's say you're gonna become an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? You you need a whole lot of money just to go through documents alone before you can even decide, say, all right, buy a brick and mortar company, buy products, start advertisement or whatever you want to do, right? It's like we're in this iron cell and we can't stretch out our hands to get anything better. And even if we do get something better, it's by going through Esau and losing our souls, losing our integrity just for some funds, right? A good example is the banker, right? These men went, they did it truthfully, in truth and sincerity, legally as well, and look what happened at the end. They lost out on everything, you know and this is a real life happening, real life occurrence, that is, right? So, as it say, "Your curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field." Now, curse shall thou be in the city. We know of what the Tulsa race massacre, right? So I'm strapped for time, so I won't go into it. Right? You can just read into it, what happened, aka Black Wall Street, right? In a nutshell, um, Israelites again, so-called negroes, African Americans, Israelites, decided to look, all right, move to a specific location on their own and build up their own, businesses, livelihood, and Esau wasn't having it. And Esau bombed that place, you know, Esau bombed that place. You can check that out as well. You can check, let's go back to scripture. It says, "And cursed shalt thou be in the field," right? Hey, check out black land loss in the United States. And also you can read here where it says causes of land loss. Esau basically, the whole 40 acres and a mule thing, the Homestead Act. After Esau basically gave them land after the war, it turns out what previous slave owners, previous landowners, came by some policy, came and took back the land, right? So black land loss in the United States, you can check out as well. The Trial of Tears, the Trial of Tears, right? They basically how the Native Americans, the so-called Native Americans, lost out on their lands, and also even the percentage of even Latino farmers is very low. It's really really low, right? Right. It says, and you can check this out as well. Well, this is just it says a union, basically, National Black Farmers Association. Why you think they have this, you know because of the inequality, and they're pushing for equality, but it's all because of the inequality, right? The racism, and it all goes back to the curses, you know whatever we set our hands out to do, we will fail. Let me read verse 20 again. It says, "The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me." So, because we forsake Yahweh Hashem and have done wickedly, right? These things are happening to us, right? And again, it's just show, who else are these things being fulfilled upon, right? We are the offspring of the earth, right? We've been exploited the most, you know, we've been taken advantage of the most by all these other nations, you know. And this just proves that, look, so-called niggers, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Israelites, So I'll close it off with that. In Lord's willing, I can get into more of it another time. Hope this lesson was at least edifying to the body. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bashmi Kodash, the bonus to our apostles and elders of James, great milestone. Peace, love, and salutations to the elect of Israel. Shalom.